in today's episode of Homestead How. We set up a GoPro on our goat to see what he's up to. We go on an amazing kayak adventure, set up some tents and throw a little get together at our homestead. I smoke up some pulled pork on our Yoder smoker for 12 hours. It turns out amazing. Jen and I also sit down and do some planning for 2021 with inflation and gas prices and grocery prices going through the roof. We put together some plans on how we're going to protect our finances through 2021. You're going to want to watch this episode till the very end, where we'll also show you some of our favorite homestead photos from this week, and we spot the most amazing thing in the sky at night, some UFOs. Well, we later identify them, but you're going to want to see these, so stick around. So earlier in the week, my aunt came for a visit, and we decided it would be a good idea to set up a GoPro on our goat to see what he will see. It provided a pretty cool perspective. Basically, it's a bunch of frantic eating leaves off the trees and then running around really quickly before people leave them alone.
Slow down a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, there they go.
If this tent looks familiar to you, then you are a regular viewer of our channel. This was the tent I took on my solo overnight camping on a deserted island when I overloaded my kayak in wintertime and found myself a deserted island on the Wisconsin River and camped overnight. This is a really cool tent. Just takes one pole to set up. We're setting up some tents. We're having a little get together. But first, it's Jen's birthday, so we're taking her out to her favorite restaurant, and then we're going to go for a hike at Mirror Lake. All right, we're gonna go
grow as much food.
So help me, we're gonna do one take.
Okay, I'm not a lens.
We're gonna do one take. We've tried to film this 15 times now. The wind keeps coming, the exposure's off, the earlier recording got screwed up. Right? Okay, now say it.
Hello, anybody deal?
Leave us a like and a comment and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. This is like one of the easier videos. We just gotta sit down and talk. I had to go get my nice microphone with the wind guard. 2021, inflation is going through the roof. Jen and I aren't at home right now. We went to get some groceries and run some errands and get some gas, and we realized how expensive everything's getting. So we thought we would talk about what our family, our homestead is gonna do in 2021 to help fight all the inflation, to help protect our wallet and our finances and get us through 2021 without going broke. Right, Jen?
That's right, Carrie.
So the number one thing we're gonna do in 2021, and we have a list of 7 things we're gonna go through really quickly here, is we're gonna grow as much of our own food as we can. That's a big part of being a homesteader, obviously. Talk about that.
Well, we've been homesteaders for 6 years now.
6 years now.
And, really? And, we've done a few gardens, but obviously, unfortunately, they haven't been working too well. Either it's the sand or the animals are getting in and getting it. But I'm crying over my garden, okay? Look, I'll show you. I have no weeds. This is my watermelon. It's been like this for months. They're flowering. There's no weeds. What the heck? So this year we're gonna work really hard on growing our own food. I think it's very important to know where your food comes from. A lot of the stuff you buy from the store is completely overpriced, and if you look at it, it's
It's got chemicals. It's got
yeah.
weird stuff in it. It's Frankenstein.
You don't
Who knows
know where
what
it
is.
comes from or where it comes from. So we're gonna be planting.
Yeah, but can I say something? One thing, my daughter Katie and I built a vertical gutter garden a couple months ago, and she's going to be planting in that. We're going to do all salads and stuff to make salads and veggies in there, and we're going to have more success because our soil and our ground, we're still treating. We got some worms and some compost, and Zach over at An American Homestead gave us some really good tips on that. Thank you, Zach, along with OMAD, which was another great tip he gave us. So we're going to work on the vertical gutter garden, we're going to work on our bucket gardens, and we're going to try to grow as much of our own food as we can, right, Jen?
That's right.
Say that's right, Carrie.
That's right, Carrie.
The second thing we're going to do is we're going to stock up on supplies for things that we cannot plant, such as, I don't remember.
Oh, like flour.
Flour.
You can't.
Sugar. Well, you could make flour yourself if we were real homesteaders.
You could.
We already have stocked up on those things in the past. We buy 5-gallon buckets with Mylar bags, and we put the flour in there. We have some rice that we did 7-10 years ago.
10 years ago. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that, but it says November of 2012. Put that up to the side. Look at it, it looks good. Okay, here, switch. This is gonna be my last meal before I go to the emergency room. Actually, it looks really good. Ready? I'm so scared. Tastes like perfectly good rice. Katie and I ate it in a previous episode. It was like 8 years old. It was still really good. So we're gonna stock up on those things like sugar, flour, yeast from the Amish store. We get a big thing of yeast and canning lids, things like that. We're gonna stock up now. You might want to consider doing that too. Flour's a big one that we're gonna stock up on. I think we got 1 bucket of flour, but she's been using it all up. And that takes us to topic number 3. On the topic of flour, we're not only gonna stock up, but we are also going to
make stuff ourselves.
Make stuff ourselves. Bake our own breads. Jen does. English muffins.
I'm really learning. So I'm a city girl and this is all new to me and I love doing this stuff with my girls. I've made cinnabuns, bread. You have to do that?
Yeah, it's bothering me.
English muffins.
Tortillas.
Alyssa makes really good tortillas. So we've been doing a lot of homemade dinners by ourselves here on the homestead, and flour is our number...
I gotta say something. We did a video last week, or 2 weeks ago, 42 homestead breakfasts for under $20. And a couple months ago, we did a video, 42 homestead dinners for under $20. That's right. She made 42 dinners for under $20 total, and not using stuff from our homestead, which we normally would do, but using stuff we purchased from Aldi's, just to show people that it's possible if you don't have your homestead yet. And the only way that was possible was because Jen bought a 5-pound bag of flour and made a bunch of stuff out of the flour. So the first day for the dinners, she made tortillas, hamburger buns, bread,
the cinnabuns.
Cinnamon buns. When we did homestead breakfasts, she made English muffins.
Right. That's when the cinnabuns were.
English muffins, bread, all that stuff. Anyways, the flour goes a long way. It's cheap. It's a lot of work. I can't say that because you did all the work, right? But we do it all in 1 week. She does it all in 1 week. She has the girls involved, so like on a Sunday, she'll take all of the flour and she'll make English muffins, tortillas, bread. She'll do it all on that one day. We'll have the girls get involved, so it's not as much work for Jen. She gets a little bit of help. The family gets together. And it's rewarding. You're making something from scratch, and it tastes so much better than what you can get. I always say that. People think I'm exaggerating, but...
No, seriously, try it. Go to the store, pick up some bread, read the ingredients on the back, see what it is. When
you don't know what it is.
Bread, it's like 4 ingredients, and you know exactly what you're putting into it.
It's cheaper, it's more rewarding, but most of all, it tastes
so much
way better.
Yes, and it's fresh, too.
That was the only way we were able to do 42 homestead dinners for under $20, was making the bread and stuff ourselves. Check out that video, there's a link in the description below. It's one of our most popular videos, it's really blowing up. We did 42 homestead dinners, 42 homestead breakfasts, next we gotta do 42 homestead lunches.
Right.
But that's for another day. So that was number 3. Number 4 is we're suspending all building projects on the homestead, which makes me very sad because that's my favorite thing to do. We built 2 tiny homes on our homestead. We built our goat coop, our DIY greenhouse. That's one of our most popular videos you guys may have seen. Our dog kennel, chicken coop, goat house. We built so many things.
Yeah.
We're not building anything in 2021. Lumber prices are through the roof.
Sad.
The only other thing I'm thinking is we could technically use trees from our property. We're fortunate, we live on a 20-acre homestead. We have an Alaskan chainsaw mill, so we could mill some timbers. Like, one project that I really wanted to do is build a pole barn. We need more storage. So we could kind of still do that, but we'll see how the summer goes, as we got enough projects as they are now. But we're gonna postpone some of those building projects. Number 5, planning groceries. This is one of our biggest tips for you. Again, you guys can do whatever you want, but this is what works for us. And planning groceries, again, going back to the 42 homestead dinners, no way you would have been able to make those 42 homestead dinners if you didn't plan it all very strategically,
especially under the $20. I mean,
we have $20 and we have to purchase enough food to get our family 42 homestead breakfasts.
I had a strategic, what I'm gonna buy, nothing else. Not throwing anything in the cart that you don't need. And that's the thing with planning
for the whole
too.
week. It was meals for the whole week for 7 days times 6 meals in a day. Yeah, we're getting eaten up out here.
Jeez.
Planning your groceries. Not just like getting coupons and getting deals is really good, but if you can really plan every meal for an entire week, you're gonna save a bunch of money versus just going into the store and buying a bunch of stuff. On the topic of planning, am I going too fast here? I'm getting chewed up by a bunch of spiders and bugs and ticks.
Keeps...
Get out of here.
Jeez, these ants.
Planning outings. The other way we're gonna work against inflation in 2021 is planning our outings. We're on an outing right now. We went to get some groceries and gas. Everything's so expensive.
Right.
We live out in the middle of nowhere, which is awesome, but it's also very unfortunate because when we wanna go to Menards or Home Depot, it's an hour trip there, hour trip back. 2 hours round trip. It's a bunch of gas, it's really expensive. So planning and grouping those outings together, for example, what do we got going on next week on Wednesday, Jen?
Lily has a doctor's appointment.
Our daughter has a doctor's appointment. It's about an hour away. So instead of doing our grocery shopping on Friday, we're gonna do it on Wednesday after her doctor's appointment.
At once.
And we're gonna go to the hardware store. We're gonna go to Menards that same day. So we're gonna go Lily's appointment, Menards, grocery store. Instead of doing it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, each on separate days, separate trips, wasting a bunch of gas. Number 7, talking about planning, this is the last bit of planning, budgeting. Jen and I have a very strict budget. Yeah, probably should have. What was number 1? Well, number 1 was gardening because we're homesteaders.
Yes, but budgeting, you have to budget in order to garden.
Everyone can budget. People talk about budgeting, but who follows through with it? We really follow through with it. We started with the Dave Ramsey envelope budget.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome, carrying around cash. Unfortunately, we do most of the stuff online now, so we strayed away from that a little bit, but we track every single thing we spend money on. Jen has Mint for daily spending, and then once a month, we have a Google sheet that I put together. We sit down and we go over every single expense categorized and every single penny that we spent. We know how much money's coming in from the different homestead income streams. We know how much money's going out. We have an emergency fund, and we know how much is budgeted. You gotta have a budget, and especially if times are tough and everything's more expensive, you gotta account for that in your budget. So we're gonna be accounting for that in our budget. We're gonna increase our emergency fund. We're gonna have to increase our budget for groceries. We're gonna have to increase our budget for gas and fuel for the cars. Right. It's nice. It's unfortunate that all those things are going up, but it's nice when it's planned and you know, like, I got this additional budget this month to account for that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment. We had a busy week on the homestead. Some of the other things we did, this wasn't this week, but a little earlier, the triplets were confirmed at our church, which is awesome. We'll show some pictures of that. We set up a bunch of our tents outside. We saw a really cool, you call them UFOs? A train of UFOs in the sky. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen in the night sky.
You wouldn't believe it if you
didn't see it. They're not UFOs because I'm pretty sure I know what they are now, but maybe you don't, so we're gonna show a little clip of that right now. No, look up. It's almost over. So these were Starlink satellites, Elon Musk's new satellite internet setup. Couldn't believe how clear we could see them, and it went on just like a train for quite some time. Pretty cool sight. And as we do in every episode of Homestead How, at the end we show you some of our favorite photos from our homestead and from around, and we've got some good ones. I got a new lens for my camera. We've been taking a lot of pictures this week, so check out some of our pictures and be sure to always watch till the end of Homestead How. We do a new video every Thursday, 4 p.m. Central. Thanks a lot for watching.
Did you get it?
No, look at these little spiders and everything. Did you hit record on that, Jen? I don't think it was recording any of that. You gotta do it one more time. Jen?
Definitely not here.
One more time.